Beyblade, Pokémon, Power Rangers, Ben 10, Kid vs. Cat, Tom and Jerry, Doraemon, Kick Buttowski, Oggy and the Cockroaches, Mickey Mouse. So these are the TV shows, cartoon shows that I loved during my childhood, and today I'm going to ranking these childhood TV shows to my least favorite to my most favorite. So I'm not a 90s kid, I was born in 2005, so I didn't watch the classic cartoon shows like the Pink Panther or the Popeye the Sailor Man, but I have watched a lot of good cartoon shows. So today I'm going to rank them to my least favorite to my most favorite. So starting with the number 10, the least favorite, Mickey Mouse. So I don't know about you guys, but I used to wake up at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning to watch especially Mickey Mouse. So it was a really great show, but unfortunately I don't remember any of the things that happened in Mickey Mouse shows. Like I don't remember any of the story or things like that what they present in the story. So that's why it is number 10 on my list. And the number 9 we have Oggy and the Cockroaches. So some people say it's not an old show, but if you dig a little deeper you would find out that this show was released in 1998. So it is an old show, and I pretty much watched that show every single day of my childhood, and I really enjoyed that. And I also still enjoyed that when it's short clip pop-ups on my YouTube shorts or reels. So this was really funny, entertaining show, and that's why it has a ranking on my top favorite list. The show was really good, but sadly the show ended in 2019. So recently we have lost a legendary show. And the number 8 we have Kick Buttowski. So this was the show that introduced me the concept of adventure daredevil boy. So I mean, this show tells you if you go ahead beyond your comfort zone and try to do things that seems unsafe or even dangerous, that things give you the satisfaction level that no other thing can give. That's why you see people skydiving, paragliding, bungee jumping. So these things definitely not easy to do, but you need a lot of willpower. So that's the main motto of the show. And Kick Buttowski is not a superhero, is not an alien. He just takes his dad obsessed with skateboarding and want to become like his mentor. So this is one of the kind of shows that I enjoyed every single story, and every single story is unique and different. But sadly the show ends after 2 years. So number 7, Doraemon. So unlike the shows we've talked about earlier in this video, Doraemon is very special to me because I have a lot of memories of Doraemon, the shows, the storyline, because Doraemon has a lot of TV shows and over 40 animation movies. So yeah, I think if you produce that much of content to a kid, I think so that kid will remember most of them even in the adulthood. So Doraemon has a lot of great movies, but out of them my favorite is Nobita's great adventure in the South Seas and the Nobita and the Steel Trolls, and there are many more movies that I really loved during my childhood. So Doraemon hasn't officially ended yet, so maybe we'll see another Doraemon movie in the future. So number 6 we have Tom and Jerry. So this was the kind of show that only focused to entertain the viewer. No matter if you understand the context, if you understand the story or not, you will enjoy the show 100% because the concept is really simple. Tom is a cat, Jerry is a mouse. He tried to kill the mouse. Jerry, I don't think so, he just chasing. Or maybe in shows we have seen Tom trying to eat Jerry, but we will see. So there are a lot of memories of Tom and Jerry in my childhood. They don't have that much of movies. I only remember 2 movies from Tom and Jerry, but if I sum up this show is one of the kind entertaining show. Number 5 we have Kids vs. Cats. So this show, not like any other show that we have talked about earlier in this videos, this show is very context heavy because a cat chasing a mouse doesn't need a context, but a cat chasing a boy needs a lot of context. So this show is very interesting. So the short story is the cat is from the other planet and he was an undercover agent and he's trying to build a portal so can his people come to the earth and capture the earth, and the boy is trying to defeat the cat. So the motto is very simple but very interesting. So this show is one of the kinds of that I really enjoy watching the show. I mean, it's very context heavy, so if you watch the show in the middle or in the end, so it doesn't get that much interesting, but if you was start to finish, then it's become very interesting to watch. So as you can tell, this was the one of the kind shows that really impressed me back in the day. So now it's time to talk about some real great shows that I loved during my childhood. So number 4 we have Ben 10. So I think Ben 10 Classic is one of the best American cartoon shows that I loved during my childhood. So I mean, Ben 10 Classic is a very great show when it comes to the graphics, when it comes to the storyline. Just look at the transaction of Ben becoming forearm. So it was really good. The storyline is pretty good. And the Ben 10 has, I think, 5 seasons: the Ben 10 Classic, the Ben 10 Alien Force, the Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, the Ben 10 Omniverse, and Ben 10 Reborn. So Ben 10 Classic is just pure gold. If you watch to the Ben 10 Classic, it's going to entertain you. And but after that, the season of Ben 10 Alien Force and the Ultimate Alien. So in Alien Force, Ben 10 got a new graphic redesign and it was not good. It was just okay. Just studios just tell us that Ben 10 become a teenager, Ben become a teenager, and the graphics become updated, but they just remove the detail, they just remove the aggressiveness of the aliens, and that was pretty sad for me because I love the old graphic, but the storyline remained the same. The story entertained you. The storyline was pretty good throughout the Ben 10 series. Ultimate Alien was also a pretty good series because they introduced the concept of ultimate alien, the ultimate form of any alien. So the concept was really new and it was entertaining. I think the most intense, the most entertaining series of built-in is the built-in Ultimate Alien. But after that, they introduce us to a new season called Ben 10 Omniverse, and that changes everything because the graphic got worse. It was not bad, it was worse. Just compared to the transaction between the Ben 10 Classic, just look at the transaction that Ben becoming forearm, and just look at the transaction in Ben 10 Omniverse that Ben becoming forearm. So it was just awful, just awful. I don't care about the storyline because the graphics made me unwatchable the show. The graphic made me to not watch the show at all. So that was the end for me about the Ben 10 series. I didn't want to watch the Ben 10 Omniverse. That was end for me. That's also happened to the studio because the Ben 10 Omniverse got very few ratings. I think they didn't hit the show. The show didn't hit, and after that they introduced to another series called Ben 10 Reborn, and that's also got pretty bad. So if the studio ended the show in Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, so that would be a pretty happy ending. But they didn't end the show, they just produced more shows. And that reminds me a quote from Harvey Dent from the Dark Knight movie, that you either die as a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And that also happened to the Ben 10. So number 3 we have Power Rangers. So Power Rangers is one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Besides, it has a pretty bad CGI. I mean, just look at the fighting scenes of the robot. As an adult, I see the show now very silly. I mean, the fighting scenes are just so silly. But back then, when I was a kid, I really enjoyed the show. And the storyline is still good. When I watched when I watched some clips of the show, the storyline is still very pretty much good, but the graphics is not as good because of the budget of the studio and the time they were shooting the show, and it just not that important for a 10 years old to differentiate between a good CGI and a bad CGI. So that's why they were not too concerned about the graphics, but they are only concerned about the storyline, as the storyline is pretty much good. And the Power Rangers has a different theme, like they introduce a new concept, a new theme for every new season. Power Rangers, Speedy, Dynabot, Ninja Warriors all have different character, different storyline, different robots to fight, and each a season introduced me to a new storyline, and it was pretty epic. It was pretty good, and as a kid I really enjoyed the show. But now it's not the same, but it doesn't matter. The only thing matters is that when I was a kid, this show entertained me and I really loved the show. So number two, we have Pokemon. So Pokemon is one of the kind show that I can say one thing about that show that I cannot say about any other show. And the thing is, I watch every single episode of the first season of the Pokemon show. So that thing I cannot say about the 8 show that we have talked about earlier in this video. I miss some show here and there. Even the Ben 10 series, I love the classic Ben 10 series, but I hardly watch all the shows. I mean, there's a one or two shows that I missed here and there, but Pokemon, I can guarantee say that I watch every single episode of that show. So the concept of this show is very simple. You capture a Pokemon and you train the Pokemon to fight the other Pokemons. So that's how you build your status. That's how you win tournaments. So this show is all about capturing Pokemons and training them and to fight with the other Pokemons. So the show seems very basic, but when you watch the source, it's become very clear that they have put time and effort to make this show work. I mean, this show had a well-balanced fighting scenes, well-balanced comedy shows, and some really good plot twists. So these are one of the kind of shows that I watched hours and hours without getting bored. So this thing I only can say about very few TV series, and Pokemon is one of them. And like every other popular TV show, it also got a graphic redesign, which I don't love genuinely but don't hate either. So it's really rare to see a graphic design that you can say about that is better than the old design. So yeah, so the new design is not great but not bad either. So Pokemon definitely one of my favorite childhood TV shows. So now it's time to talk about my number one favorite childhood TV show that I love to this date, and that show is Beyblade. I mean, this Japanese show is one of the great Japanese TV shows that I watched during my childhood. Its concept is also very basic. You have a Beyblade and you try to defeat the other opponent to gain the title of world's best Beyblader, but the storyline is just another level. I mean, if you watch that show, so the show will hook you. The storyline is just perfect, and I mean, they don't rush when it's come to the storyline. They try to build each character's own storyline. Each character have their own personality, and that's make this show better than the other show. I mean, this show don't rush at all. If you have a time, then watch Pokemon. If you don't have a time, you will not going to enjoy it. And as a child, I have a lot of free time, so that's why I love this show a lot. The fighting scenes of the Beyblade is just in the other level. I mean, what I would say about this show is just super duper great. The first season is almost the greatest show that I ever watched. The best show, the graphic design may look old, but when the time I watched that show, this is one of the best graphical looking TV shows. And after first season, like every other great popular TV show, it also got a graphic redesign, which I don't like. I mean, it is watchable, you still enjoy the show, but it's not like the same. I mean, the people who watch the first season, I think probably don't like the second season. I mean, the storyline is still really good, but the graphic that makes me upset. But this is what it is. I mean, the first show is totally good, and I would suggest you, if you never watch any Pokemon TV series or things like that, so you could definitely go watch the classic Beyblade series. I mean, Beyblade has a lot of different cartoon shows. The concept is same but have a different TV shows, and the Beyblade that I'm talking about, I think, is one of the great Beyblade TV shows. So we've talked about all my favorite cartoon TV shows. So this video took me a long time to make because I have to go to research and write about everything that I love, which is not that easy. I mean, I could just say this show is good, but I have to come up with a storyline and things like that, unique information and everything. So I think you can guess with my bet that in the starting of the video is just very small, but it has become bigger because literally this took me months to make. So yeah, hope you guys like my video, hope you guys enjoyed the video. So if you want to see stuff like this more, so you could subscribe this channel to see more video like this. So I'll see you guys in my next video.